Welcome back to the Texas Rangers pregame show driven by Geico. Rangers fans, great news. Got a quick and easy way to save money. Switch to Geico. Go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Well, the Rangers and Astros getting ready for Game 2 of a 4-game series from Globe Life Park. And right now, we're going to talk to the Director of Peak Performance for the Texas Rangers, Josiah Igano. And Josiah, what does that title mean for people who are kind of scratching their head wondering what exactly it is that you do?
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, a lot of times when I hear that question, everybody says, man, what is that? You know, in essence, I'm our sports psychology practitioner for the Texas Rangers.
So what is a typical day like for you?
Man, it's different. It's different. I spend a lot of time, obviously, around our players. I'm in the cages. I'm in, my office. I'm on the field, at stretch, in the weight room, just kind of bouncing around, cross-pollinating ideas, talking with coaches, players, staff members. Sometimes I'm dealing with some minor league issues, if you will, developing our staff there. I spend time doing a lot of research and just trying to make sure that we stay on the cutting edge of things, you know what I'm saying? So it varies. Every day does not look the same. But just trying to be very progressive. I think that's one word that I can, affix to what I do is I try to be very progressive with what we're doing and what we're offering as a peak performance department.
All right, so I'd imagine that you do a lot of work prior to the game in terms of the communication with players and helping get them ready. What exactly are your responsibilities, or what do you typically do when the game's going on?
So during the game, I always watch the game. So whether I'm in the weight room, whether I'm in my office, my eyes and ears are always attuned to what's going on. Oftentimes, I will take notes or make notes to myself of different things that come up, conversations that I can have with players and coaches. It's a fine line in my position because these guys are elite. These are elite athletes, and they were elite and they were really good before they got here. And so there's a fine line between being a resource and being a coach, an instructor, a teacher, and you have to be able to you have to be ready rather to be either at any given time.
Talking to Josiah Igano, Director of Peak Performance for the Rangers, it seems like this role, and I'm sure there are different titles across the league and maybe across multiple leagues in different sports, but it seems like this role and your responsibilities and the impact you can have on the athletes and the coaches has evolved over the last few years and been integrated in a way that maybe it wasn't 5-10 years ago. How have you seen your role and for lack of a better word, the significance or the importance of your role change in your time in this field?
No, great question. I think I would be remiss if I didn't mention the late luminary, one of my good friends, Dr. Ken Ravizza. He changed the way people look at sports psychology, sport and performance psychology. Oftentimes people look at psychology as, broken, built on brokenness, dysfunction, being problematic, and I don't view it as such. I view it as a continuum of events in which you can have an individual who's struggling with debilitating injury, slumps, adversity, and just whatever life throws at him, to a player who is an all-star caliber player who has everything going for him and things are going great and our job is to prepare the athlete to improve his position, because at any given time on any given day he can slide down that scale or he can slide up that scale. I think people are becoming more open to sport and performance psychology, and when you look at it, man, that $6 word psychology, right, all it is understanding why people do certain things in certain situations. Why does Joe Schmo from Nowhere, America absolutely dominate in big-time settings, whereas a first-round draft pick chokes? Why does that happen? And that's something that I absolutely love, and I think that it's something that the people are becoming more receptive to.
All right, you were a college football player. You played at Arizona State. You were not a baseball player. What sort of learning curve was there for you when you got involved in baseball to, obviously had the foundation of understanding how athletes worked, but the sports-specific elements of baseball? What was that learning curve like for you?
As an athlete, we speak a different language. Athletes speak athlete. You know what I'm saying? Competitor, we speak the language of competitor. And so deep calls onto deep. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of the actual sport, yeah, there are differences. But when you look at the learning curve, man, like I work with people. You know what I'm saying? I work with people. That's one thing I understand. Being in the role of a strength coach prior to this, being in the role of a chaplain prior to this, I absolutely love witnessing individuals at their breaking points. And not in a sadistic way, but hey, man, how are you going to respond when that fire kicks up? The melting point of gold is 1,947 degrees. That's how hot it has to get for that goldsmith to burn out the impurities, the dross, the dirt, the things that should not be there. And I absolutely love it when people respond to adversity. So when it comes to dealing with baseball players, yeah, the struggle is different, but the concept remains universal.
All right, well, for being our guest, Josiah Igano will receive a gift certificate to Gus's world-famous fried chicken. Josiah, thanks for joining us. Looking forward to doing this later this summer.
Thanks, Jared. Thanks for having me.
All right, Rangers and the Astros, Game 2 of a 4-game series coming up next on the Texas Rangers Radio Network.